Well, with only several days to go before the major election, several polls are starting to surface. News Channel 8's Wes Small files this report.
We are with John Boyd, a long-time pollster. I mean, this guy has been taking surveys and also public opinion for over 2 decades. And he's on the retirement edge now. He's giving it up. He's also been a professor of logistics and so forth, right, at UVI.
Business, marketing.
Business, but he's like a math genius, just retiring from the dry cleaning business as well. And we're certainly sorry to hear about Mrs. Boyd. We know that you lost her recently. But now he has a gubernatorial survey out. Is that what we call these things now?
We call it a poll or a survey.
And listen, just if you want to know the fluctuation of right and wrong and if he's good or not, he has predicted how many in a row?
About the last 5 elections, and I got
gubernatorial.
Gubernatorial, and my favorite is the 2006 race with 8 people, where I got all 8 in the right order, and I was the only one to say no runoff. So it's a little bit of a credible record.
And then roughly 10, 15 years ago, he dared to take a poll on radio announcers, since we have no ratings, Nielsen and Arbitron. And who was the #1 radio announcer in the Eastern Caribbean?
Wes the Best.
I'm sorry.
Wes the Best.
Okay, now we can get on with it. Okay. So, what do we have here, John?
I did it. This poll was being done by an independent organization. They're nationally certified. They're not playing with numbers because they can't afford to. They do millions in survey work in America.
Did you get paid to do this poll?
I did not get paid. I handed the torch voluntarily, just as I've done it to a class at UVI. Okay. I showed them my survey instrument. I handed it to them. There is a class that is doing this as a project, but will not publish because they don't want the aggravation. Okay?
All right.
So I finally got the results, and 900 people, and they chose to use a voter registration list, where I always did a random poll, and people used to fault me, well, you're polling non-voters.
Right.
They're not. They're doing a stateside professional, only registered voters that are working from that list.
All
okay?
Right. How many people?
900, Wes.
900, and who won?
Oh, come on, let's do district by district.
All right.
St. Croix, Mapsiku has 65%.
Mapsiku, 65% St. Croix.
That's correct. That's very consistent with last year's general election. They had 62%, and it's gone up a little bit. So I'm not surprised at that.
Okay.
St. Thomas is closing in, and it's neck and neck now with Mapsiku at 42 and Young Francis at 49 with 9% undecided, 8% undecided on St. Croix. Overall, with rounding errors, that's 53% for Mapsiku, 38% for DeYoung Francis, and 9% for undecided. And I think it might even be changing a little bit more now because after the primary, there was some, well, up until this was done before the endorsements by Schneider and before the endorsements by Turnbull. So there's been some change in the weather.
He is John Boyd, and he has a lot to say, and he has been right the last 4 or 5 gubernatorial elections, and he says Mapsiku will win this one. But of course, that's not the last poll.
No, so the last poll is November 2nd.
And make sure you go out and vote.
And by the way, everybody should vote.
I'm Wes Small. You know I'm voting for #1. I almost said #1 out 95 for News Channel 8.
Thanks, Wes Small and John Boyd, and we'll be bringing you more polls coming up later on in the week. And the first affordable available home ownerships on the island of St. John is underway. There are 24 3-bedroom, 1.5 baths still available, and the ceremony will begin at 11 a.m. The governor will be there, and his staff. They'll be on hand to issue the first of the 2 owners of these units their keys. The staff will be available to answer any of your questions at this affordable housing unit. Give them a call at 777-4432. Well, News Channel 8's Lee Carl caught up with the junior ROTC that are on a cleanup to clean up St. Thomas. Let's take a look. Lee?
Let's go! Go, Bravo! Amigos of
I'm at the Evangelidora Ken. Colonel Eddie Charles called me today to come on out and see these energetic youngsters from Junior ROTC in an effort that, he described it, coast to coast, more like coastal, and under the aegis of Banco Popular, UVI, and of course Junior ROTC and Evangelidora Ken. First, I want Eddie Charles to explain to us first what we're doing.
Well, today the Junior ROTC Battalion, the Mighty Race Battalion of the Ivana Eudora High School, is involved in an intercoastal cleanup, an annual affair where they join with the Ocean Conservancy at the University of the Virgin Islands to pick up trash along the roadways along this coastline, especially from the top of the stoplight here on this highway going towards Sapphire Bay. And they pick up trash, they categorize the trash so that I think the Conservancy at the UVI can then figure out how much trash and what categories and types of trash that is being littered along the roadway.
Our vicinities from stoplight come all the way around past the school towards Sapphire, all the way towards there, and we pick up as much trash as possible and we record it to know how much pounds we picked up and how much ground we've covered. I am Chantal Eddy and I am the battalion commander for the Mighty Race Battalion for the 2010-2011 school year.
Chantal, explain what was going on up there again.
Okay, up there what we usually do is we set the companies to show their energy and to motivate each other to be hyped and to be all together, you know, to bind as a unit, and we all sing cadences to get ourselves in the mood.
Clean up at Ivana Eudora Ken under the aegis of Banco, and also give a look here, and it really makes sense. In St. Thomas at Ivana Eudora Ken, Lee Carl for News Canada.